Welcome back to the Holosky Podcast. We are your hosts, Steven.
And Kyle.
And we are your source for the weird, the paranormal, and the mysterious. Hope you all like that new intro.
Hell yes.
Anyway, we're doing things a little different tonight. We are doing a little interview with one of our Discord compadres. Our man Kenneth had a bunch of weird experiences here lately, so instead of talking about them, we're just like, you know what, you come on and talk about them. We'll get it straight from the source, and hope you guys like it. The conversation goes all kinds of places. It was a good time.
Yeah, it turned out awesome. I kind of felt like it would, but I'm just glad that it did. It went really well. I was really excited. I've been looking forward all week to this conversation. So we pulled it off, and
it was a good time.
It was awesome.
And
couldn't be happier.
And I hope it's kind of opens the door for anybody else out there that has some paranormal encounters that would like to come on and talk with us about them, as opposed to just sending them in, hearing our thoughts. We can get like live feed what we're thinking and what we're feeling about your encounters and such.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, we got to get through the business. So check us out at all our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. You know the drill. We have all sorts of ways you can get your personal encounters to us. Kyle would normally tell you about them, but
it's all in the show notes now.
It's all in the show notes now, and on our link tree. Just search us up and find it.
Literally any way to get a hold of us, you can do it. I also plugged the Discord link in the show notes as well. Ooh. So I put it on an infinite thing like you were telling me about, so it never expires. So
I hope that works.
If it does expire, one of you kind folks out there, let me know, and I will update it again. And if I have to, every so often, I'll just update it. And it's not that hard to change, so I just got to not be lazy.
We'll just go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll make sure anyone who wants to be in Discord gets there.
Yeah, that being said, we have all kinds of ways to support the show. We've went through it before: Patreon, Venmo, whatever you want to do. We've got a
buy some
merch store. That's all in the show notes as well. Instead of listening to me say it 10,000 times, you guys know the drill. You can check it out. The best way to support us is by just pushing us word of mouth. Tell all your weird friends. Anybody that likes podcasts, likes mysteries, likes the paranormal. Put us out there. Let us fall on New Year's and just keep running with this crazy train that is Holosky.
Hell yes.
If you'd like to leave us a 5-star rating and review, that's definitely helpful as well. Helps us kind of get our name out there and push us through the sea of all the other podcasts. When people search up dope shit, we will be there. If you leave us a 5-star rating and review, I will gladly shout you out on a future episode. Right now, I am digging through all of these dope-ass 5-star reviews from England, because they don't show up on my Apple reviews. My friend Helen was kind enough to send them all our way on the Discord, so I am reading them. Today is 5-star rating and review is brought to us by Helen82 White. Perfect. 5 stars. A great, well-researched and well-presented podcast. The topics are interesting, and I always end up making notes so I can dig into the rabbit hole myself. Well done, guys. Keep up the good work, and keep drinking the Monster. Funny you should mention.
Yeah.
Because I'm drinking one right now. So, yes, thanks so much for the kind words, Helen. We're glad you enjoy it. We enjoy all your company. You guys are just the dopest. So,
yeah.
You got something, Kyle?
I do have something. I need to find the message, though.
Stand by. We got the dope monster cooler here in the old hollow layer. So we're pretty stoked about that. Should be filled with delicious nectar of the gods before too long.
Yes, which is what I was coming to about the cooler. We did receive the cooler, and our dude, Tim Osman in the Humboldt County, is the dude that hooked us up with it. So
shout out, Tim.
Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. It was far more than we could ever expect.
It's so fucking awesome
from anyone. I don't know. Like me and Steve are still like This is cool.
I was carrying it in
really
today,
cool.
and I'm like, what is our life right now?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then thank you for everyone who jumped on my call to arms for creating a logo for our desk. I've had some really fucking awesome submissions. I know there's still one more out there working on it. But either way, thank you so much. And I'm going to get permission from everybody, especially because there are a handful of people that do this professionally, which is fucking crazy that they just wanted to donate shit to us. But I will post the images regardless and tag all of them in it. So that way, if there's any fellow podcasters out there listening or anybody who just needs some cool fucking artwork done, hit these people up because they are very talented. Very talented. Like I'm pretty taken back by what I've seen so far. I'm excited. I really am. So once again, thank you to everyone who is willing to lend a hand to us. It gives me a little bit of hope for humanity.
Hell yeah. We definitely have the best listening group of people out there ever.
Without question.
So, with that being said, we will not do a listener experience today. Well, we kind of do, but it's further into the show. It kind of ties in with some of Kenneth's experiences, so you're going to have to listen for that. But now we're off into Kenneth's world of bizarre experiences. Hope you all enjoy. All right, today we're doing something a little bit different. We got our pal and our homie from Discord, Kenneth. He's come on. He's going to talk to us about a whole plethora of weird shit that he's been dealing with lately, and we are here for it. So, without further ado, here's our dude, Kenneth. He's going to just start breaking down some of the weird he's been experiencing.
Go for it, buddy.
What's up, guys?
Yo.
What's up?
Glad to have you, bud.
I'm glad to give this opportunity, man. This is awesome.
Oh, we're excited to have you. I've been looking forward to this since we started talking on Discord. I've been looking forward to this all week long. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be so good. Because like we were just talking about, all three of us together, I think it's probably gonna be magical because all of our brains work in very particular ways. So I think the conversation is gonna naturally. I think it will be a natural conversation that is just gonna evolve on its own. I really do.
I agree. And I want to personally thank you for all the work you put in.
Fuck yeah.
On the Discord, digging into shit for us. And like, you're a pillar of our information community, man. Yeah,
everybody on there knows that you and Kyle are like basically the two dudes. Everybody knows that. Because I've had. Go ahead.
It's fun, but it gives me something I got to do. It keeps me busy.
Right on.
Digging into shit and looking at the weird while it's looking at me, kind of thing.
Fuck yeah, man! I hear that. Word. I hear that. So I mean, you can start wherever you want to start, dude.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. I guess really the best place to start is probably egress, man, because I've been listening to the podcast for a while, and that egress shit came up, and we started looking into it. And then I like pulled away for a little bit, and then I came across, a book by Mark Fisher called The Weird and Eerie, which was weird. And the main reason I came across was the way he described it was that the weird and the eerie are the only modes of egress from the human condition. It's the only thing that makes you step outside of what humanity has like restrained and prescribed itself to, So it was like, all right, I'm all in for this egress shit now.
I love it.
I'm gonna get these fools.
I feel it.
And it was going weird, and I'd sent a couple texts, got a little bit reply back, and then they just stopped. And I started getting kind of crazy. I just send them random texts, and I sent them one. It was like, I had a thought that said, "Be wary the false shepherd, for he leads the flock astray." Just started making up a bunch of bullshit. And then I had this dream. And, we've talked about it. It's been on the podcast before. I meditate and try to, do astral projection kind of things. And I have this dream, and I'm walking through my house, and I feel something else. There's something else there, and I look out the front window of my house, which is it's one of those frosted glass kind of front doors, so you couldn't see anything anyway. But there was just this dark figure on the outside of the door. And then all of a sudden I started hearing questions because my girlfriend was asleep on the couch. She had fallen asleep there, and it's like, "Who's this?" I was like, "Fuck you." I'm not telling you that. And it was like, who's downstairs? I said, "It doesn't matter who's downstairs. Who are you?" And it was just super creepy. And then like, it was like that consciousness questioning part left, but that figure was still at the door. I just couldn't get over it. Just super weird. And then it was like weird, and it kind of bothered me for a little bit.
Yeah, that makes me feel gross.
Yeah, inquiring about your personal life is bizarre.
So in that instance, were you the one that would be considered downstairs, or would that be your girlfriend, or?
That was somebody else.
Oh, so the whatever was in your head asking questions was basically asking who was at the front door?
Yeah, it was like at the front door, but it was like asking me about people that live in my house.
Yeah, who else is in the house?
Oh, so it might have been registering like your old lady, and it's basically just trying to figure out
like who is this and who's that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
It's weird that it knew that other people were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like it knew other people were there, but it didn't know who it was. So like, either I've got a completely messed up subconscious that doesn't talk to itself, like it knows people's there, but it doesn't know who they are, or some crazy shit was happening.
I'm going to go with the latter.
It's almost like it's almost like maybe it was something possibly attached to the house, and like possibly it's communicating through you to see like, who are these people in my house? Who is this on the couch? Who is this in the basement? Who did it ever come across to you like, who are you? Like it was asking who you were?
No, it never really felt like that. It just felt like it was asking about who was in the house, and not specifics about the house, just specifics about people in the house.
In there. Yeah, that's weird.
That's terrifying. Like just that alone in my dreams, because I've never had a dream like that before ever, where like and at least you had the wits within you to, when it asked everything, you were like, no, I'm not telling you anything. I'm not doing that. Because if we know that when it comes, I mean, even just in the Fae lore, you're not supposed to give things your name. You're not supposed to do that.
And it was like, it wasn't that normal dream. It was way more like a lucid dream. Like I had complete control of like my faculties. I knew I was dreaming. That sort of thing. It's like I knew I was dreaming, but it just felt like there was some other consciousness coming in to my dream, kind of thing.
God, that makes it so much worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes me feel better.
I just did you feel like threatened by it? Like did you feel like it was malevolent, or like it was evil, or a bad entity or anything?
Well, it was. So here's the weird thing: like when the question started, like I didn't really feel threatened, so to speak, but I felt more like in that protective mode. You know what I'm talking about, Kyle. When like it's like someone's not necessarily threatening, but it's like there's that potential for a threat. So you go into where I'm going to be a protector, kind of thing.
They're digging into your personal life.
Yeah, that's what it was like when the questions were going on. But when those stopped and it was just the entity, it was like I didn't feel a threat because somehow I knew it couldn't come inside.
That's fun.
Kind of like, vampires or black-eyed kids. Like, I knew it couldn't come inside unless I let it in.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I pick up what you're putting down with the, like, almost like with the questions. It like I feel like it was giving you the persona, like it's feeling you out. Like,
oh yeah,
like, can I get this dude?
Or trying to figure out shit I can use against you.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like,
yeah.
let me know more of your personal life.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sucks. I don't know. I've never had a lucid dream either, so I don't know what that feels like. But I could tell you right now that just thinking about it, the fact that you were able to acknowledge another consciousness coming into you or into the wherever you were at, not necessarily you yourself, but whether you're on this astral plane or you're wherever the fuck you are, but you acknowledge that something else is there is fucking terrifying.
The implications of that are so, like, out of this world to me. Because on one hand, it's like I don't even know which is worse. Is it worse that it could have been another human being invading your consciousness?
That's fucked.
Or is it worse that it's not a human being invading your consciousness? Because either one of those two
they suck.
options are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, see, and that's when I delved into, like, so Stephen Greer talks about, and I don't believe everything he says, but it kind of made me think about this whole thing that the government has been developing, like, electromagnetic weapons to increase brainwaves or something. So similar to, like, Stargate and the remote viewing, that they're developing these machines that will help amplify a person's brainwaves. And then I sat there and I also saw, and I don't know how much of this is true, but I read that, like, when you're in a parking lot, right, and you can't find your car and you got your fob and it's not working, that if you hold it under your chin, like right underneath of your mouth, and beep it, your brain waves will actually make it go further out, because your brain waves have a further distance that they can travel. So they can, like, this electro wave can piggyback on your brain waves. I was like, that's some crazy shit. Is this what's going on with egress?
Well, see, I'm going to take this as the perfect segue to bring up, well, we kind of talked about in Discord, and I was feeling you out when it come to all this shit, and I was basically beating around the bush. Did a lot of this shit start before egress or after egress? And I believe you told me after egress, basically. And then I threw it out there. I had this thought, like, okay, so maybe, not saying this is the case, but maybe what happened was Steve found that flyer, or somebody found that flyer, posted it. But to our knowledge, to our current knowledge, there was one flyer posted in one subdivision in Texas.
Yeah.
So what if there was supposed to be a quote-unquote test on someone in that general vicinity, but because we ran the story, they changed their parameters of the test, and they decide, let's run the test on these motherfuckers. Because if it has anything to do with the human psyche or brainwaves, like you're saying, at this point, me, Steve, you, and anyone else who dove down that road, we're already full focused into egress. Like, we've unlocked it. Our brainwaves are going full bore at them. So what if they decided to run the test on us?
Yeah, and they were the ultimate puppet masters. We could only go as far as they let us. The exact immediate second that they stopped responding to us, we got nothing.
Yeah, and I told, dude, we had a conversation with Charlie from the Confessionals with the Enochian technology, and when we got to talking to him about it, he brought up that it is possible that this could be some type of super AI. But I also ran this theory by him, because you and me were I think we kind of felt the same at a point where I even told Steve, I even told Charlie, I was like, bro, I know this sounds crazy because I feel crazy when I say this, but I feel like right now we are 100% tapped into something. I don't know what that is, but there are all these signs that keep pointing me in all these weird fucking directions. And just like how you stumbled on that book and like all these weird things started happening. You can call them synchronicities. But the second egress stopped, the second they unplugged from us, I could feel whatever that was. I could literally feel whatever that was slowly being pulled from me. And I presented this to Charlie, and everybody should at this point pretty much know who Charlie is. He suggested that it is possible that me and Steve are soul brothers and that this is part of our destiny. And I'm like, the fact that you even use that lingo is mind-numbing to me.
Yeah.
And
then, so I kind of I pulled a little bit of a Steve. Became like the super psycho ex-girlfriend.
There you go.
Right?
I love it.
I did. I'm gonna lie. And I one of the last messages I ever sent Egress. What I basically said was the gloves are coming off and the hunted will become the hunter. I basically told him I was coming after him.
I love it.
And that's when some of this real crazy shit started happening.
See, and that makes me wonder, because if they started to disconnect from us, because it wasn't very long that they figured out who me and Steve were.
Yeah, they were using me by my first name before I ever gave it to them.
And
yeah,
they didn't know you were connected to us necessarily. And even if they were, it is possible that because you meditate, because you do whatever you do, it's possible that they found a more viable test subject. And they decided, all right,
yeah, I didn't even think about
here's
that.
our dude. Here's our guy.
They could have been so...
I thought about that. Like it was like, okay, going to the next level kind of thing.
Yeah. 100%, dude.
My thing is if there are more levels, where is everybody else that made it to the next step? You know what I mean? Because I feel like outside of pretty much us, you didn't hear about it.
No.
And then once they unplugged from us, you don't hear about it anymore.
Yeah, it's dead in the water.
So you would think that they had enough subjects to move on to the next stage, but where are these people?
It's a good point.
I thought about that too, and I honestly want to say and maybe they just left the Discord, but when we first started, I want to say there were a few people that were on there that were going hard, and then they just stopped.
Yeah,
being on the Discord altogether.
That is a valid point.
I didn't think about it. There were people digging into everything that we could put out there. They were digging into.
Yeah, because I remember people running all types of numbers and all types of weird
numbers
shit.
from the Bob episode. People were just digging into.
Yeah.
And another thing, like if that was a very hyper focused experiment on one person they wanted in that subdivision in Texas to deal with, once we started running it and kind of getting it out there, maybe they just got so inundated with people reaching out that they couldn't handle it.
It's possible. And then not to mention, we also, because all of us pushed so hard, we also ran the possibility of exposure for them. Because this was their initial quote unquote test was supposed to be an isolated incident.
Yeah,
real small.
You don't expect one flyer in one subdivision to blow up, essentially.
Yeah, but then they also entertained us all. I don't know.
We did have one weird piece of correspondence that we didn't let out, but I'll probably put it on the Discord. And we had some weird account reach out to us on Twitter.
Yeah.
And leave some weird ass fucking numbers and shit.
I think
in March.
Didn't you do something with that, Kenneth?
I didn't put
Is that the dark skies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I think Kenneth was trying to run a bunch of number shit on that. To figure out those equations.
I even messaged him like 3 weeks ago. I'm like, yo, we're still here, but it has never even been read on Twitter. So
I've messaged Egress a couple of times and got nothing back.
Anyway,
Yeah,
bringing it back around.
Bring it back around.
Bringing it back around.
So anyway, after I sent this message to Egress, basically saying that I was coming for him, that's when. So I'm in my kitchen and I'm facing my stove, drinking a glass of water, and in the reflection, I see a shadow figure on my back deck on the outside of the door. Well, I slam my water and I turn around. There's nothing there. And that was the same day that we saw the handprints on the wall, which the family that lived here before did have kids. So it's completely possible that something, temperature change or whatever, something scientific brought the oils out from a handprint. But the weird thing is I clean my house from top to bottom twice a year.
Yeah, because I even asked
Dawn
you that.
Soap. Yeah, I take Dawn dish soap and wipe my walls down to get all the oil and grease and all the buildup off of them. And I'm with ladders and stools cleaning. So it was just weird that it showed up, and it was only in that one spot. It was nowhere else.
That is weird.
Yeah, and you gave us the pictures and posted it in the Discord, and Discord did what Discord does, and we all, for lack of better words, at that specific time, we more or less, quote unquote, debunked it. And I think we were all kind of on that page.
Yeah, that's basically how it works. Because at first, the picture itself, and just looking at it, really only looked like 4 digits. Almost looked like an alien. Yeah. But once you adjusted the contrast, you could see there was that 5th digit that you couldn't see before.
Right, exactly.
And I feel like sometimes when you have a conglomeration of these weird things happening, you can have a single variable and it not be that important or that weird. But once you put it into context of everything else that's going on in your life at that time, these pieces start fitting together to make shit really bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it went from there to so I have a bunch of citronella plants outside of my house. So I kind of live in the country. I like having them up. And it didn't really storm, but there was a little bit of wind. And amongst all the other plants that my old lady has outside the house, because I have probably 30 or 40 of them out there, the citronella plants were the only things knocked over. And then my outdoor chair, my lawn chair or whatever, which it's pretty sturdy, man. I mean, it's the wrought iron backing and it lays down and everything. That thing was moved 5 feet twisted sideways. However, we also had the camping fold out chair, just the real flimsy ones. Those things hadn't moved a bit. I got up in the morning and saw all that and was like, this is some crazy shit, And that was the same time, and it was earlier that morning I woke up from my sleep, and I looked over, and that's when that figure that I'd seen in my dream and I'd seen on my deck was now in my room, standing over me while I laid in bed.
Dude, and now that you say that, I just had a no shit moment, because once again, when this happened to you originally, you bopped it in Discord, and Discord did what they do. And I remember asking you okay, about these plants, do they have any specific properties to them, whatever. You started doing research on them, and first you popped oh, they're they get rid of this and the reptiles and yada yada yada, but then you did more digging and found out they're actually spiritual barriers. And now, if this is all in chronological order,
it is.
Who's to say that those fucking plants weren't keeping old boy out from your first experience?
That's kind of that thought definitely did cross my mind, because especially because I think 3 of those citronella plants are right by my master bedroom deck. And all those were knocked over.
Yeah, or even worse.
That's the door directly into my bedroom. There's a door.
even worse, maybe it's letting you know that, hey, this shit isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Because I'm putting everything we've talked about together in my head as I'm listening to you talk, and considering all of it started from egress, and we're taking into account that you feel like it's something outside invading your consciousness. What if they did have the ability to astral project, and this is how they're getting to you?
Fuck, I didn't think about that.
They're coming through. They're like, oh, the gloves are coming off. Well, the gloves can come off for us too.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I totally did not see that one coming.
Because like, if it was some big like psychological experiment or metaphysical experiment, maybe this is fucking round two. Maybe this is where it's like consciousness versus consciousness.
Because they did say you will know if you're selected. Like there will be.
Yeah.
They said that because Steve asked, was like, how will we know if we're selected? And they said, you'll know. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement in itself. But if they have, assuming your theory is right, and they have the ability to, because let's face it, per the sheet there, which our listeners were the one that uncovered, thank you very much. A lot of them questions fit schizophrenia test.
Yeah.
So for me, it definitely says this, whether it's metaphysical or whatever the fuck it is, it definitely is going to involve psyche. That's 100% on the board.
Yeah.
Check.
And so a lot of those questions also deal with that book.
Interesting.
Oh, I do remember you mentioning that.
So basically, Mark Fisher, he's also known as K-Punk. The weird and eerie, that's all he's writing about is like music, stories, movies, Kubrick, Lovecraft, all this stuff that he classifies as like weird and eerie. And he's got a whole definition, man. Like, in order for something to be weird is the presence of something that should not exist. And that's why he says like Lovecraft is the greatest at it because of, Cthulhu and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That shouldn't exist. And eerie is either the absence of something that should be present or the presence of something that should be absent. And I always think of like a payphone would be eerie nowadays to see that.
Yeah.
Touche. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going through all these movies and stories, and a lot of those things work into like all those stories.
Yeah, I think I
like,
text Kyle a couple times.
Yeah.
About Fisher.
And you think about and you think about like schizophrenia and all that. It's like it's a disassociation from the reality that we claim, kind of thing, and that's basically what the weird and eerie is it allows you to transcend that reality that we're all stuck in. So it's just really weird that it worked out so well.
Yeah.
Together.
Which, I mean, by you giving that description, I mean, it sounds like the definition of egress, to exit.
Pretty much.
It's so weird, dude. It's so weird.
Yeah. And then so then there was that instance with when like you guys were having shit happen and I had that dream or that owl in the morning. It wasn't really a dream, but I kind of felt like I got forced into a meditative state and then like couldn't remember anything, heard those tones and saw the owl. And like all that was going on, and then things kind of chilled out a little. And then I think that happened before waking up to the figure in my bedroom. And that's when I posted on Discord if there was like some big difference between whether an entity is up by your head in the bed or if you're standing at the foot of your bed. Like, does that mean something or whatever? And then I had another dream. I think it wasn't not even a week ago, maybe, because I remember talking to you about it, Kyle, on Discord.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when you were like, all right, we're doing an interview kind of thing. So I had a dream, and I was like, I knew I was like, it wasn't in my house, but I was like downstairs somewhere. And there were stairs behind me and a dark hallway in front of me. And I knew I could go up the stairs and be just fine. But I didn't want to go up the stairs because I needed something down the hallway. So I went down the hallway, and something like chased me out. Like I couldn't, it was not defined, but it wasn't really human-esque. You could tell it was a little more grotesque or weird, but still like a shadowy figure. And I must have tried like 3 or 4 times to get down that hallway, just because I knew I needed something down that hallway. Like I knew I could go up the stairs and leave and be just fine, but I didn't want to, because God damn it, there was something I needed to know, and I was going to go find it. Didn't get to it.
I don't know, man. It's a mind-boggling situation, especially since you can, like, once again, you can process the fact that I know that if I go up these stairs, I will exit wherever I'm at and bounce and be good. But it's almost like the buried treasure is up ahead. I don't know what the buried treasure is, but I sure as hell want to find out.
Yeah. And it was really close. I mean, I'd almost classify it as a lucid dream, but you know, I've had numerous of those, and I do my meditation and all that, and I've never recollected being somewhere I didn't know. You know, like that one, I was in the house, and I've had ones where, you know, I went flying around and all kinds of crazy shit, but never have I like been somewhere that I didn't know where I was.
Yeah. And then Steve is over here shaking his head laughing because I mentioned to you there's an email, a correspondence with a guy that we just recently got.
Yeah, something about it.
And I had said something. I was like, I want to present this to you because after hearing this section of your story and a couple other details from your previous ones, I'm like,
yeah,
there might be fucking something to this here, because your stories are they're similar in a lot of ways, but they're different in a couple ways as well.
It's almost like people are experiencing similar things differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that kind of contradicts itself, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's bizarre. I'll go ahead and read this email to you and everybody else so we can kind of see the parallels to it here. I'm going to start it off by saying this is left from our friend Todd, and I'm pretty sure he called in and left us a voicemail. He says so on here, and I think it's the same voicemail I'm thinking of.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
We have put together a voicemail episode, a second one. I don't know if it'll air before this or after it, but he is on that episode. But I'm going to go ahead and go from here. And this is from our friend Todd. He said, "What's up, guys? So I left a voicemail a few weeks ago about some weird dreams I've been having. Well, they've gotten worse, a lot worse. I don't know what to make of them. So into the dreams we go. The last few I've had start out the same way. I feel and hear a woman behind me asking me to follow her as I'm standing over my bed watching myself and wife sleep. Instead of rejecting her request to follow her, I've now begun following her. She takes my hand, and then we are floating over a city. Next, we're standing outside of a house. There, outside the house, stands a man, tall with a very dark presence around him. Very different from the bright, positive presence of the woman I'm with. She tells me not to be afraid of him and tells me to go with him. I take a step toward him, and we are standing inside the house. Inside the house is a man who, by all accounts, is evil, or at least I feel like he's evil. The tall, dark man touches my shoulder, and I immediately know what I'm there to do. Without any control, I step in front of this man who's sitting on a dirty couch. I reach out and I touch his forehead, at which point he slumps over, and I watch what I think is his soul standing beside me. At that point, he asks what happened. The tall, dark man reaches out and touches him. At that very moment, dark beings converge on this man and pull him down into the floor while he screams and begs and apologizes. As soon as he's gone, I'm transported back outside, and me and the woman are immediately back in my bedroom. She kisses my forehead and I wake up. Each dream starts and ends the same way. I don't know what the hell to make of this. I've had several other dreams just like this, but with different people. I will say that all the people involved have made me feel like they were the worst of the worst in the world. It is what it is, I guess. Thanks for the great podcast. It's nice to have a place to dump all this crazy shit. Todd.
All right, so before you react, Kenneth, and once again, we're in the assumption, which I'm almost 100% sure Steve is correct, and the same gentleman left us a voicemail. Now, I just listened to that voicemail yesterday because I edited the podcast, et cetera, et cetera. But this is going to be more so context for you. Like Steve said, we're not sure which way this is going to air. But for you, Kenneth, so here's what the guy leaves a voicemail, right? And he's talking about these dreams. And currently, at the time of the voicemail, he's been ignoring that voice. He has not given in to that voice.
Yeah.
But he has noticed that he's appearing in places that he's unfamiliar with. He almost has the same, like the flying around thing, like he had said. But when he, like in these states that he's in, he doesn't remember fighting people, but he has that gut feeling like he's been in some type of conflict, and even more so, like mortal, like where he's killing people. And when he wakes up, he says his body feels like he's been in a fight. And it's so, in his voicemail, it's basically so intense of a feeling for him. He actually knows people in law enforcement and is having them basically keep their eyes out for any suspicious deaths in the area.
Damn.
Pretty heavy.
It is heavy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know when you guys are going to air this, or should I like go in about this?
Whatever you want. I mean, because
I'm just curious.
I think there are similarities between you and what this guy's got going on.
I mean, I guess you guys can always edit or whatever, however you're going to air the episodes. But like, so my first question is wondering if he ever had the encounter with somebody asking him questions.
Good call.
Right? Like I had, because maybe he had that encounter and maybe he answered their questions and they realized that they can manipulate him, you know, and then you get, you know, and if that happens, then you got to have the bait, which a beautiful woman with this bright glowing aura when you're in that astral state to lead you to, you know, I'll just say the pimp or whatever, you know, that guy that's really going to tell you what to do in some form, some way. And all of a sudden you get into that concept that I brought up about, you know, this electromagnetic devices, they say, that can, you know, expand awareness and allow your mental facilities to be able to go further distances or whatever. And all of a sudden he becomes this weapon that they can direct and use.
Oh, I didn't even think about it.
Because it's really crazy that everything he's talking about is on like the forehead, right?
Yeah.
He touched forehead and the lady kisses his forehead. That's like that top end chakra classified as the pineal gland, where
the third eye. The third eye.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that it's all happening there.
Fuck, I didn't even put that together.
I didn't either.
Like you like,
you know,
running on your theory, like you were almost suggesting that they created almost the borderline perfect Manchurian candidate, like one that almost has no recollection of anything that they're doing, but when he sleeps, they can just, oh, guess what? He's their avatar, essentially. Check this out.
Yeah.
Bloop.
Yeah. So let's say like, cause they asked me those questions and I knew what was going on, cause I've had at least some experience in that kind of situation, in that ethereal plane. So they asked me these questions and I'm just like, fuck off, go get bent kind of thing. And they're like, this this guy's probably not going to work. We'll have to do something else.
And I wonder.
And then they talk, and he's like, they're like, who's this? And he's like, oh, that's so and so, blah 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 blah. You know, whoop de whoop, and tells them everything. They're like, this is our dude.
Yeah, just feeling it out. I wonder if people are more like people who aren't experienced in like the astral plane and astral projection and meditation and stuff. I wonder if they're more vulnerable to say this is some kind of attack. I wonder if they're more vulnerable than people who are actively conscious of that. You know what I mean?
I could see that.
I mean, I would think so. Like I said, like when I'm willingly like going into those states, I put up this protection. I focus on that for a good 15 minutes before I do anything because I don't want to get fucked up there. Yeah. But you know, for somebody who doesn't really know that, and they're just kind of thrust into that, and they don't realize it. I'm sure, you know, they're probably, you know, they might think, oh, this is just a dream or whatever, and then it gets real crazy, and they don't know what to think about it, but they don't know how to like protect themselves.
Man, I'm just like, again, I'm just sitting here thinking of all these things. What if it is like so much bigger than egress? Like the state of the world today is so, it's just a powder keg of everything. Everybody is on edge. Everybody is just wore thin. What if there is some kind of like secret program going on? What was it where they went through the different planes they were astral projecting and shit? You did the
Center lane.
Yeah. What if this is center lane? What if they are breaking into the psyches of? I mean, this is just 2 people out of our listeners. What if there's hundreds of people out there?
Well, look at all the other listeners that were having apocalyptic dreams
and the war dreams. Yeah. What if this is like this is full bore? Let's see if we can't break people's psyches.
Well, in 100%. I mean, if you not to get into debates in current times, but I mean, a lot of what is happening currently does feel like a power grab, a control state. Like, I personally feel like there is a lot of heavy manipulation pointed at us every single day, and I think, I mean, you bring up a good point because what is one of the best ways to get into a human's brain, and that's like even in Mannequin and stuff, they talk about shattering the psyche and creating all these different fucking altars and all this crazy stuff to where, I mean, look at how we're being barraged every day. It's a new topic every day for people to be mad at or to get offended by or to feel attacked by, and like we're attacked on so many fronts that our psyche is so fucking stressed.
And on that note, this might not even be an attack on the psyche. This could be like all this shit going on socially and culturally around us could just be the fodder that they need to come into our psyche this way.
Yeah,
through the astral plane. And you know what we're going to write it off as? Stress.
Fuck
anxiety.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, look at the state of the world. It's all anxiety. You know, when they could be in there pulling the strings, doing whatever the fuck they want.
Yep.
And we're just.
Well, I mean, okay. You and you think about it this way: you take the pandemic, which just floods the globe and media, and how, you know, media does nothing but talk about how horrible it is, and it's like practically the end of the fucking world to them. You take all that's all going on, so people are stressed out. You know, they even talk about, you know, people having weird dreams and, you know, the COVID dreams and all this shit.
We were reading about that.
You know, and then you start bringing in this weird and eerie shit, right? That's supposed to pull you out of reality. That's supposed to bring you to the higher consciousness or whatever, like a UFO from the Senate. Luis Elizondo, and then Stephen Greer getting back into the light with his, and how many people everywhere with C5 and talking about raising the global consciousness and all that. So basically it's like trying to break the psyche with the pandemic, the isolation and all that, and introducing this outside weird and eerie concepts to open up people that would allow them to go into the astral plane and get to people easier.
I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucked. Like I just my brain is fucked right now. Because I like if you sit back and think about it, like everything that Kenneth just said, if you sit back and like ponder that, you're like, holy shit, and what we've just been talking about the past 10 minutes here, I feel like I'm part of a fucking experiment now.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It's
if you, I don't know,
everything that's been ran, everything that's pushed down our throat, the last. Well, probably forever. Actually, it's only made it worse. Social media has made it infinitely worse because it's just right there. It's in our face. It's down our throats all the time. It's to stress us out. It is to produce anxiety. It is us versus them. It's Trump this. It's Biden this. It's mask. It's no mask. It's vaccine. No vaccines. It's collapsing Afghanistan. All this fucking bullshit that just. It just eats away at us. And like it's like the more that you dig into it, the more that you have to eat. It's like you just want to keep going with it. And you got to find people who think your way and stick with them. And then you got to find people who don't think your way and you got to fight them. And it's just you just 100%. Can't even fucking you can't even take a breath.
Oh, and then what's funny is like on that note, that's what we perceive reality, because that's what's getting force fed to us, right? But I'm one of the few people who don't pay too much attention to the media. I mean, I get bites here and there, but ironically enough, like, I mean, I don't want to call people out, but like the dude I work with, he's vaccinated, I'm not. And that has no relevance to any conversation or any topic, period, the end. Like, I don't think that it's actually as bad as they're saying that it is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like it's that way. I really don't.
I'm back, and that was, a personal choice. It was elderly people that are in my life, and it was, I would rather do that than even think about risking their health or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when it comes to anything else, it's like, I don't fucking get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. Just make it be your choice. Don't let it be somebody else's.
And that's what I mean. Like, I feel like, because I mean, I talk to a lot of people that are quote unquote on the other side of the fence as me, and then which you kind of tiptoe around the subject because of how nuclear they've made it, but inevitably it does come up in conversation, and a lot of people on each side of that fence, at least that I communicate with, are like, yo, dude, like, I did it for this I'm like, I don't need an explanation as to why you did it, but hey, whatever. And then they'll give me I did it for this. I did it for my son who has asthma crazy fucking bad. Every time he gets sick, we put him on a ventilator, the whole nine. And I'm like, bro, I get it. Like I get it. Like, you did what was best for you. Like, that's what we're supposed to do as human beings.
But I think that's part of what's like been going on with society lately with the pandemic and everything, is it's trying to make these divisions that really don't need to be there.
Oh, dude, me and Steve talk about it all the time, how like it used to be this and this, but now it's this and this, and then they've taken those two main circles, and then they've broke those circles into smaller circles, and then those ones into they're just constantly fracturing these groups to where literally they are going to be able to do whatever the fuck they want to us, and everybody's going to hate each other so much.
We distract ourselves,
or quote unquote hate. Like, perception is a motherfucker. Like, I could sit here and perceive because, Kenneth, you're vaccinated, that you automatically fucking hate me and think I'm the end of the world, but that's not the case. That's not the case. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? No, but that's our perception in current times.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. We distract ourselves.
Absolutely.
They don't even have to do anything at this point. All you have to do is click on your social media, see something that you don't fucking like, and that's your hyper focus.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, well, fuck this guy. It's like,
100%.
They don't. 100%. All they have to do is dangle the carrots, and we just fucking chase them.
100%. Fucking hands down, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
And
that kind of goes into this theory I'm working on about like systemic isolation.
I love how you just work on theories. Like, you just build theories.
Right. Well, so I started looking at like religious texts and everything, and realizing that like it's it's the all out everything. It's if you get an honor, you're placed above and isolated from everybody else. If you're getting punished, you're isolated from everybody. So it's just this concept of making sure that nobody can really get together.
That's fucked up.
Oh yeah,
You know?
it's everywhere.
No, it really is.
Everything is like that.
And ironically enough, I mean, I'm not trying to fucking toot my own horn here, but you can ask Steve, like, the one thing that I've always had an issue with, and this is for me personally, this doesn't go for anybody else. I've personally always had an issue with labels. Whatever, you know, you're a fucking straight edge kid. Like, for me, or vegan or whatever it is, like, for me personally, if I was, let's just say vegan, if I'm vegan, I'm not going to go, yeah, guys, I'm vegan, because I'm conscious enough and wise enough to know that, well, you know what, maybe tomorrow I'm going to decide I want a fat steak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have always found labels to be really dumb, because almost no one is forever married to a lifestyle, a decision, you know, because we all feel differently at any given moment. So I just always consciously felt like, you know, if I want to do something, I'm just gonna go fucking do it. Like, I don't want to have to explain to Kenneth here as to why I'm not vegan anymore. Like, it's just stupid. You know what I mean? It's just dumb. But they've manipulated us in this way that, like, they want everybody to be, everybody needs and wants a team to play for. And fortunately for me and Steve, we're not really those types of guys.
Everybody wants to be socially accepted.
Yeah.
And they've bred a culture like, oh, I'm going to post a picture of my kids. I wonder how many thumbs up I'm going to get.
Valid point.
Yeah.
Valid point.
I'm going to post my opinion. I wonder how many people are going to argue with me. It's this whole, like, the best thing that could happen is this whole fucking grid shut down.
Yeah.
The best fucking thing that could happen is this thing just tank and everybody has to learn to be fucking human again.
Dude, it would be like the happening. People would just drop.
I'm sure.
They wouldn't know what to do. Like, being 40, man, I remember times without smartphones and all this other shit.
Same.
You know, so it really freaks people out when I leave my house and I'm gone for 2 or 3 hours and I didn't take my phone with me. They're like, how can you do that? Like, it's actually kind of nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it.
Just
bro, that was a
disconnect.
way of life. Like, when me and Steve and obviously you, when we were 16 years old, and I'm what am I gonna do? You know what? I'm gonna go see if Steve's home.
Yeah,
You hop in your car
to his house.
and you drive to his house, and if he's not home, you're like, fuck, I drove this whole way for nothing.
Like Kyle said today, I'm one of the only people Kyle knows that still has a landline house phone. Yeah, still got an old landline, baby.
Jeez.
It's just
I haven't had one of those for years.
Yeah, because we were kind of discussing that internet theory, and we just kind of went off. And
it's just like, I don't know. There's I don't know if it has to do with the pandemic. I don't know if it has to do with anxiety and the stress, but something is going on. Something has got people's minds.
Okay. Let me pose a question to you. Right?
Let's go.
So all this is going on, and they're breaking psychology to reach people at the astral plane or whatever, and get inside their minds. Would it possibly be part of Project Blue Book? Because imagine if you could go and you could find these people that, similar to like Stargate and the remote viewing, except they're going into people's minds. If you can get enough of them, and you can take like a device that's an electromagnetic device, and you can tune it in to specific frequencies, and if you could have one person altering the mind or vision of like 20,000 people all at once because of the frequency, and you could make them see what you want them to see or have dreams that you want them to dream, then you could set stuff up to step in.
Oh, for sure. I think that was actually initial, at least in my research, was a part of Bluebeam because in Bluebeam
Bluebeam.
Yeah, they were like the research that I've seen. It was one of two pillars, right? It was either the alien invasion or it was going to be this deity type situation,
like second coming religious.
But like you were saying, they were theorizing that whether it was through our phones, our TVs, or whatever it was, they were basically going to make a percentage of the population appear to the other percent of the population as demons, and that this would justify the deity that you are seeing in the sky all the more, right? And so essentially that theory that you just, came out with, or you just
it fits right hand in hand.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
And it's nothing.
So what if you don't have, like, because I looked into it and it was talking about like holograms or whatever in the sky.
Right, yeah.
It's like, what if you don't even need to do that?
No,
what
exactly.
If you can just make a person see it without having...
What if you can go to them while they're sleeping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%, man.
And it's
100%.
nothing to put past the government. I mean, like, look at MK Ultra. Like, we know that shit happened.
Yeah, 100%
There's no
real.
question.
Yeah.
Like they will pull no stops as to what they want to do.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
The world we live. It's terrifying.
It just seems to get worse and worse, like every day.
Every day.
It doesn't even feel real anymore. Time, like even time is fucked up. Time doesn't even feel how it felt 3 years ago, dude.
Yeah,
It's true.
It's so
100%, dude.
So weird to me. I feel like there was a massive shift somewhere in the last 3 years that we were all too blindsided to even know what the fuck happened.
Or they just redirected our vision over here.
Yeah,
While
like
they were doing
the
something
smoke
over
screen.
there. Yeah, for sure. 100%. 100%.
yeah.
That's all they ever do.
Yeah, it does. Everything does feel different. It feels way more doom and gloom than I feel like it should. And I don't know, like there's a giant part of me, like you were hitting on earlier, about how, like, I think that if we were, like, imagine the way all three of us would feel right now if we were literally sitting outside at a campfire, all three of us together. I think by us doing that, it would almost feel like we're creating our own reality in that moment. Like we're living in our own bubble and we are observing the world through our bubble at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Almost like we're building this force field around us. Like, hey guys, we're cool in here. Like, this is normality in here. This is what we're supposed to be doing. And instead we are forced to communicate through electronic devices or like you made one of the best points about like how many likes can we get on Facebook from our kids. And
yeah, it's this weird structure of validation that we all need.
Yeah.
They've programmed us to need that dumb shit, and it doesn't even fucking matter. It's just so out of control. Like, life doesn't even feel real. It feels like it's just some big scenario someone's programmed in. Like, for the last 2 years you haven't heard anything but vaccinations, not vaccinations, COVID, masks, no masks, until there was either a fucking election, or the whole withdrawal from Afghanistan. Everybody seemed to just turn off for a few days about the pandemic and hyper focus on these other super important issues.
Right.
And then it's just like, I don't understand. We're being manipulated. That's for goddamn sure.
I would
Yeah.
agree.
I think by and large they're doing a great job at it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they're pretty much
Like, there's
100%
people-
successful.
Yeah, I mean, there's like you guys, and people on Discord and like a few of my close friends and everything that are, I guess, all in all, basically still kind of like normal or whatever. But the little bit of the media that I actually watch, it's like, this shit's crazy.
That's exactly how I feel, man.
It doesn't feel real.
It
Time doesn't feel real. Interactions don't feel real. It's I don't know.
I mean, I've just accepted.
Like
I've told my wife, I'm like, I fully believe that there are entities on this planet that are controlling essentially day-to-day life, and they're not micromanaging to that level, but they are directing the paths that humanity takes. And I'm like, if there's, for me personally, in the 34 years that I've been alive, if there is any feeling of this actual NWO actually being an entity on its own, I'm like, for me, this is it. This screams, we're already in the NWO. We just haven't acknowledged it yet, in my opinion. I 100% feel like they succeeded. It's done deal.
Oh yeah, they even like we posted on the Discord. They're even like doing vocal slips referencing the New
NWO.
World Order.
Yeah,
when they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And it's all, and they're dictating the narrative. We care about what they want us to care about.
Yeah,
is what it boils down to, because it's everywhere. We are force fed it from every single avenue of our lives. Turn on the news, you open your phone, you open your computer. Like, you can't even send a fucking email without a bunch of dumb bullshit popping up.
It's true.
What makes my mind even worse off is like, why do they need our focus so focused on these few topics? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on outside of the smoke,
right,
that we're not paying attention to because we're so wound up as to whether or not this or whether or not that or this or that. You know, it's like,
yeah, it's like, here's the magician's apprentice, but where the fuck is the magician?
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Some Wizard of Oz fucking behind the curtain bullshit.
100%.
And we'll never know until it's too late.
Yeah. I kind of feel like we were already at the too late stage. Like, it's the nails have all been placed. It's just a matter of finishing them home.
Circling.
We're practicing in 1984.
But it's like, circling back around to your experiences is like, is there something to it? Is there something physically invading your consciousness? And is that something controlled by something else? You know, because you hear more and more people having experiences like this. You know what?
Yeah.
Are these entities sentient, or are they being controlled by some bigger force? Some, you know, the puppet masters that control everything else.
Right.
You know, I don't know, man. It's so, the uptick in
it's kind of fucked.
Experiences like this in the last few years just make you wonder what the fuck is going on.
Well, it's kind of fucked that, like, the conversation went the way they did tonight, because, like, every time Kenneth brings these things up in Discord, like, my mind, and it's not a blaming factor, it's just where my mind has always gone. It's always been like, yo, dude, are you sure you closed that fucking door when you were done meditating? Like, is it possible that you left something open and something came through, or you created a connection that something on the other end can access as well? But the fact that the conversation went to, is it possible that there's an outside entity controlling these entities that are breaching your psyche?
Maybe it's a lot more human than we thought.
Dude, that's a lot. That's a thought that just never fucking occurred to me, and it's a fucking wild one. I'll tell you that.
I think it's almost worse than it being something supernatural.
I'm kind of there myself,
because you have other people like I don't think there's anything more terrifying than the human aspect, the human condition, because we know what humans are capable of. We do not give a shit about anything.
True.
And if the one time you like, you almost feel the most safe is probably when you're fast off asleep.
Yeah, you're at home
and
in
now
bed.
you got to worry about like other people
breaking into your fucking head.
And the fact that it was asking about the people in your house, like that's fucked. Like who else? Who else is here? Almost, if we go by this dude, almost like if we do take control of this guy right now, how much collateral damage is in this house if we set him off?
Right.
Valid point.
Very valid point.
Dude, I don't know. It's weird.
Has it pretty much dropped off since then, Kenneth?
Well, I mean, I had that one dream about a week ago or so, but like, no, ain't having nothing moving. My girl and her daughter said they heard some noises, but that very well could have been like the dogs running around or something.
Right.
They were just freaked out,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, pretty much like nothing new has really happened. I mean, everything that's been going on, like, so the owl thing is the one that just throws me for the loop. But that's like the only thing that is just so weird, because I heard these three tones, and it was more similar. So Kyle, the set of tones I sent for the guy.
Yeah.
And so like the first one I sent, like the ones I heard, it was more similar to that. It was actually like, it was the fourth, the fifth, and the bass, which it's like, those are intervals. And it basically, the fourth, the fifth, and the octave, the low one, that's basically like every pop song ever. Those are like the most harmonic notes you can have or whatever. So I heard that it was like boom, boom, boom. And I was done. Eyes closed, woke up, didn't know what the hell happened. And then saw the owl on my way to work. Now I've had, like, as a kid, I had some instances where like I woke up in different parts of my house growing up. As a teenager, we went like road tripping to another town. And I remember we pulled to the stop sign and we took a right. And then we all remember coming back to that same fucking stop sign, and it had been 2 hours.
What the fuck?
Like what the hell just happened, And just little things like that. So seeing that owl, is like, it freaked me out, but it didn't feel related to any of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm kind of there too. Like,
because the weird thing is thinking like, if it's related, then is other shit from my past related to this stuff that happened 20, 25 years ago?
If that's the case, then we are way the fuck off on our theories tonight.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, man, maybe we're way out of the ballpark.
It's possible.
And it's just as plausible that it is something out of our reach as it is that it's something.
Okay, so here's this other thing, and I brought it up on Discord, and I talked to some people about it, and I can't remember if I sent a message to Tony to like maybe get Charlie's input on it. But I was going to go into the Marines when I was 18, and I took the ASVAB. And then when I came back the next day to do the rest of the entrance stuff, all the physical things, they told me I scored high enough I was going to take the D lab. And that's like fucking a military language aptitude, like kind of spy shit and intelligence, whatever. And they told me I scored great on that. And that they had to do a deeper background check because of that, because what I'd be going into something different than what I had planned, and it has a higher security clearance kind of thing. And so I went and was doing the physical, and they brought me back up, and this guy comes in, and like wasn't the guy I originally talked to. So this guy comes in, he basically tells me that everything looked good except for a few things, and that I had to go finish my hearing test, right? And I go do my hearing test, and it's in this like World War II era like isolation pod, and I like get in there, and they get me all situated and lock me in. I just start feeling really weird, and I'm going through the hearing test, and it's really fucking weird. And then I go to leave, and I have to be helped out of that. And then literally, like, it's like, so the isolation pod was in its own room. They helped me out of the isolation pod, and they're helping me out of the room. And there's 2 MPs there. And they informed me that I failed my background check and that I could leave immediately. And they escorted me off out of the MEPS processing center.
What the fuck?
And yeah, because like the D lab is like a portion of the D lab is written, and then the other portion is audio. So you're listening to it on tape, and it's basically they just made up a fucking language, and they give you just enough to hopefully that you can figure things out. And it's weird because they'll ask you like where people were stationed at in the room in this conversation.
That's weird.
So weird.
Yeah. So like, and I talked to one of the guys on Discord who, he's a veteran, God bless him. And, he says like, yeah, he's like a lot of the smaller, more rural, recruitment centers and MEP centers, that's basically what they have is this World War era 2 kind of crap, but he said, the rest of it, the rest of the way it went is really weird.
It's like what did they find out in your background check, or what did they like? How well did you score on those tests? Where they're like, if we train this guy, could he be out of our realm of controlling him? You know what I mean? Like something had to happen for them to just shut it down. Like you can't go from like, hey, you scored really fucking good on this part, and you scored really fucking good on this part, but we need you to leave right now.
Yeah. We go, and we're gonna have these military police escort you out. I was like, that was fucking crazy.
That's wild.
So did they basically just like kick you out of the military at that point?
Well, I wasn't in. I was still trying to get in.
Oh, so they just like barred you from getting in?
Yeah, basically say, yeah, we're not going to take you.
Well, that's kind of fucked. I mean, if you passed physical requirements and you obviously passed intelligent requirements, even if you weren't fit for said job, they would be like, all right, dude, you're actually not the candidate we need for this job, so we're going to put you back to your original plan, or et cetera, et cetera.
Unless something popped on the background.
Yeah, that's true.
It popped up in the background, and it wasn't really anything. And then I think they tried saying I failed my drug test, too. And I was like, there's no way in hell that happened.
That's so
like I hadn't
so
smoked
weird.
like I smoked weed then, but like I know for a fact I'd gone like 2 months not smoking anything because I was going to be going into the Marines. Like the recruiter used to take us out to fire guns and shit.
Right.
Like there was a group of us, we were all kind of hung together, and we're all like, we're going in the Marines.
That's so wild,
So that's where it's like if this stuff or is related or linked to anything in my past, like who knows what the hell that could be.
Dude.
Yeah. Dude, I don't even know.
I don't know enough about military procedures to know like where normal falls with what you went through. I really don't know.
This could all circle around to where you were scoring so high on those tests or whatever that now maybe they're using all this shit to keep an eye on you. See what you're up to. See what you're doing.
Plausible.
See where you're living. Dude,
I
don't know, man. It's bizarre.
Yeah, that shit just threw me for a loop.
I bet.
And like all my friends that went in the Marines, like they never really experienced anything like that. You know, a couple of them did not score great on the ASVAB. So basically they were just going to be cannon fodder pretty much, you know. But I had some other friends that they scored high enough. They were pilots and shit, flying helicopters. And they're like, that's just the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Have you talked to anybody that even remotely went through the hearing process you went through?
Yeah. So I talked to a guy on Discord. So a couple of my friends that did go in the Marines just completely cut ties with me. And then the rest, you know, we still kind of talk every now and then. But like the guy on Discord was like, you know, most of that sounds fairly normal. The hearing test.
Like even in the World War II style.
Yeah, he said that sounds completely normal. You know, the military's kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. So they still use them.
Right on.
I did see pictures of like some of their newer devices that they use, some of the newer hearing tests they administer. I looked that up, but you know, I can understand, you know, they're still using it, but he was like, you know, the reaction to it, the way I got really woozy and had to be helped out of it.
Yeah. That's kind of
like
where I was leaning. My next question was,
he said that doesn't line up at all.
Interesting.
I
don't know. Hopefully, if there's anybody that listens to this, maybe somebody will be able to reach out and give us a little bit of advice on that situation. Because I'm sure there are military people that listen at this point, and you know, I don't know. Could it be one of them things that it mess with your equilibrium, or you know, because I know changing your pressures and stuff can really fuck with you, like really bad.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it possibly could be something like that.
Yeah.
It's just super weird the way it all went down.
Yeah, and then the fact that you had MPs escort you out.
Yeah.
They're like, you failed, goodbye.
We're gonna need you to leave immediately.
That's so weird.
Another kind of winding back around to some things you said earlier was talking about the tones that you heard, and then how you said that the same tones are used in every pop song you ever hear. Makes me wonder.
Yeah.
It's all mind control.
If they're using these tones all the fucking time and we're just not paying attention to them, or we don't know to pay attention to them.
Yeah. So there's the group. I don't know if they're from Australia or where they're from, but they're called the Axiom of Awesome. And they do a rendition of that basically because it's like the same 3 chords, same progression.
I've seen it.
You know, they play, and it's basically like that, except it was like almost like a wind chime or, you know, the chimes or whatever, just, you know, the 4th, the 5th, and then back to the bass, the 1. And that's why when the guy was talking about the Faye, I was like, well, what was it? Because typically if they wanted to lure you away, it would be something that would be, you know, wanting you, you know, something nice, something melodic, you know, that would pull you away. But if they were going to be coming for you or something or trying to battle, then it would be dissonant. You know, they try to get you set on edge. Yeah. So like the theme song for Halloween is like all dissonance.
Yeah.
Most horror movies are all dissonance because it makes you bristle and get fidgety.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's weird, man.
What a wild conversation.
I hate sitting here not having any answers, just spitballing all these theories at him, not helping him out at all. I'm like, yeah, bro, it's probably the fucking CIA invading your dreams, or it's some alien being also invading your dreams. I don't know what to tell you.
While you're at it, tell Bigelow we said hi.
Yes. There you go.
I almost like the selfish need to know part of me almost wants you, like, if you encounter the entity again in your subconscious, I almost want you to like question it, like not necessarily angrily confront it, but just, you know, just start like being like, who or what are you, you know, like let it know that you know that it's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've already been like taking steps to do that.
My guy.
Like when I go to bed, there's certain questions that, because what I really want to get back to that fucking room with the hallway, because I want to get down that hallway. And, you know, I already got like a little mantra I tell myself for that, you know, for me to remember and say when I'm in that position, should it happen again. And then I also have like some questions and a mantra in case I encounter like that shadowy entity again, just so it's fresh in my mind if it does happen.
I'm curious
now. I
now.
really do that. Yeah, that hallway, man. It's. I was trying to explain it. It's like knowledge. I know there's knowledge at the end of that tunnel. There's something I need to know, and I crave it. You know, I'm fucking like it's like a heroin hit or something. You know, and I need it, and this thing just won't let me get to it. Every time I start going down the hallway, it just charges me. So I keep telling myself, I got to remember, this is what I'm going to try if I see it again.
Man, I wonder. I really want to know it's at the end of the hallway.
So do I.
Like I don't know. Like I'm just going to anticipate the day where you come on Discord and you're like, hey, you're just freaking out. I made it. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know.
I don't either, dude.
Yeah.
I wonder now that you've come out and have like talked about it openly and we put this on the air, I wonder if it'll increase your experiences, like cause an uptick, or if everything will just shy away and it'll tone down.
Yeah, I've kind of thought about that myself a little bit. Like it was part of it. Kyle went to the interview and it's like, oh shit, what can happen either way? Could it increase? Because that would suck. Could it decrease? That could be good, but that could suck in its own right. Like, because then I would be disconnected and not know, not have any experiences, of, you know, just be empty. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. You know,
love it.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird. Like after we lost Egress, me and Steve, we talked off air about how we felt a type of way. Like we felt.
Kyle watched me spiraling. Like I was texting him every day. Like, just give me something to work with. Give me something to work with. You know.
And nothing. It literally felt like being unplugged. Just see you later, bitch.
It felt like you were part of you were part of a secret club, and they just kicked you the fuck out.
Well, they didn't even kick you out. They just stopped even acknowledging your existence.
Yeah, they ghosted us.
Yeah, they just one day you showed up for the meeting and there was nobody there.
And they ghosted us in the worst possible way. The last message I got from them was the first fucking message I got from them. Like full circle, just a full circle fuck you right to us.
The thing is, like, so you were talking about seeing if there's an uptick and everything, right? The other reason was like, I also want to know like how, if there is an uptick, when it starts. Does it start before you air the episode, or does it start after? You know,
it's a good point.
If you guys haven't, if there's an uptick and you guys haven't aired the episode, then that's like, okay, then definitely somebody is watching on some very covert shit, know, phone lines or consciousness, whatever it be. If it's after the episodes air, then maybe they're just kind of paying attention to certain things.
Yeah. Now I'm curious. Now I almost want to hold off a couple weeks just to see if it kicks up or not.
Yeah. And I mean, it was, and at first when you guys told me you were having a little bit of technical issues earlier, and I said to Kyle, you know, somebody must not want me to talk to you or whatever kind of thing.
I thought the same
like a joke,
thing.
but it was like, is this for real?
I thought the
is somebody really that in tune with what's going on that they're on Discord? paying attention.
Dude, I would have been dumbstruck if Steve wouldn't have thrown that out there about the cooler kind of overloading the room, which is kind of funny. But
Yeah.
if he
Well,
would,
it's a monster.
right?
That's true.
Right. So, or if we would have unplugged that and everything would have still been having the issues it had, because I'm not even exaggerating the slightest sense. Our setup never, ever, 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 ever changes.
Except when the ghost changes it.
Except for when the ghost changes it. But as far as the cords go, the way we plug everything in, that whole setup is exactly the fucking same. And when we first started fucking with it before you called, everything was fine. Everything was 100% fine. And then it wasn't until fucking 15 minutes before you called, things started acting weird. I thought we broke our fucking mixer. I'm like, great. There's a $700 mixer down the fucking drain. I'm like, this is great. We are fucked. Not only do I need a new spinny chair because it keeps deflating on me, but we need a new mixer now too. Great.
It did cross my mind though whenever you're sitting there and you're like, everything is plugged in exactly how it's supposed to be, and I'm like, somebody's fucking with us.
I didn't even think about that. I just thought we broke something
and
somehow.
then we were going through the variables of what changed, and I'm like, well, we got this big ass cooler sucking energy. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Which we love, by the way.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Fuck yeah.
It need to load it up with some decals and.
Oh hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hopefully once we have it plugged in for a while, it kind of like just slowly maintained itself where it's not drawing so much power. Because I know it's working OT right now, or it was working OT to cool itself down.
And when we're not recording, we don't have all the equipment plugged in. So
that's true too.
Kind of catch up to itself.
Yeah. Give her a try.
Oh yeah.
If not, we'll just plug it in another room. Fuck it.
True.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been we're pushing an hour and a half.
We are.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, like Kyle said, it was probably just going to go all over the place.
Yep, I figured it would.
It definitely went routes I didn't expect it to.
I think it's going to be awesome, though. I think people are going to have a really... I even texted Tony about it, and I was like, I think this interview we got coming up, we're going to drop a lot of thought bombs on motherfuckers. And he's like, you think so? And I was like, I fucking guarantee it. I was like, because the way our individual minds work they're very particular, but when you mix them all together like this, I bet we're going to come up with some fucking weird stuff. And not to mention the experiences this guy's having are fucking special in themselves. So I was like, it's definitely going to be a ride.
Yeah. Yeah. And that email from Guy, that was intense.
Yeah, it was weird, dude.
And the parallels it has to some of the things that you're experiencing it's bizarre that even in our small pool of listeners that we have, that's happening on happening to multiple different people.
And that's either it's bizarre or it's intended.
Yeah, or it's so widespread that people just aren't talking about it.
True. Fucking true.
Which brings me to my next point. If anybody else that's listening to this is having similar experiences with the entities where you're feeling like there's some kind of conscious being invading your consciousness, please let us know. Reach out to us. We'll try to compile the things together. Maybe we can get a think tank going on the Discord and get everybody in there and shoot ideas off one another. Like even just having somebody that thinks a little bit differently, as you can tell by the interview tonight, sparks so many different avenues of discussion. And that's like the only way you're going to ever get on the right path is everybody putting their opinion and discussing it and, going about it how you're supposed to go about it. Like it's just, you can't be fractured anymore.
No, I don't know how many times on Discord somebody's brought something up that's made me be like, oh, no, now I'm off on this rabbit hole looking at this kind of thing.
Yep. And
It's awesome having those people throw things out and bring things to the table.
Oh yeah, well, me and Steve talk about it all the time, even off the air, how much we love our Discord squads.
It's what we need. It's what the whole world needs. They need a place to go where they can just
not be fuckheads
and put their brains together and come up with solutions or theories and just kind of put all the bullshit on the back burner.
Yeah, and some people just go, "Hey, look, guys, this is neat. Check it out." And we're like, "Oh shit, that is pretty cool." I think sometimes Discord isn't even paranormal. Sometimes it's the goddamn Holosky Food Network. So I mean,
no shit.
Pick your day.
Yeah, just pick your day.
Yeah, like literally, there are days where you go in there and it's nothing but what everybody's cooking.
I know, and I wish I had samples.
Like it's cool, man. It really is. It'll go from weird to fucking. Hey, Kenneth, what are you eating tonight? Check this out, boys.
Basically, goes from like I saw a UFO to I'm standing at my grill right now.
Yeah.
If that's not Holosky in a nutshell, I don't know what the
for sure, man. And then it also shows that everybody in Discord is more or less friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
we don't have to think the same, but we can go into the same lobby and talk about it and get your thoughts out there without it being some knockdown, drag out, dumb shit.
Exactly. It's a fun place.
It's weird how like anything supernatural, paranormal, like is getting to that, to where it's like, well, the UFOs are this. No, the UFOs are that. Who really fucking cares? It was a UFO, man.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Let's get that. Let's get that on media a little bit more. That it,
Exactly.
Who cares what you think it is? We all know it's a UFO.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's Big Bird in that bitch or if it's fucking Green Martian.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
I saw a tweet the other day that said there was people arguing over UFOs and UAPs and some shit, and the tweet was, "A giant pink suction cup dildo could fly across the room and hit me in the head. If I didn't know what it was, it's a UFO."
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I saw that.
100%.
It is a UFO.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
True?
It is. No, 100%. I cannot argue that fact. Cannot argue that fact.
Oh, shit. I love it. Well, Kenneth, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us tonight.
Yeah, dude. It was a wild ride. It was awesome.
It was.
Yes.
It was good, man.
I hope, I know we didn't get you any answers, but I'm curious to see if things increase or decrease and how it goes within the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll obviously put anything on Discord that happens.
Right on, man. If it gets crazy, we'll get you back on and we'll fucking figure some more shit out.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
We will catch you on the Discord, bud.
Cool.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah,
Thanks,
stay safe, my dude.
Yep. Later.
Bye.